Well, folks, this is going to be an interesting show. We are Sansa Jim. It's just you and me. So, welcome to the live stream. We are going to play around with an old radio that I found in the building that has become the Wisconsin Ham Club for W9WAR. This was in the building before I bought it, and that's pretty much all I got for you. I didn't pick it out. I don't know much about it. It's from I guess the early 90s. So we're going to take a look around and see what we can do with this thing and see what kind of power it puts out and see if it's clean and see what all the accessories and all the fuss is about and all kinds of stuff. So let's get to it. And I got to do all the production by myself without Jim talking, so it's going to be interesting. And some of the views are missing. There we go. There's the view I wanted. All right. So this is a Vertex back before Yaesu called their radios Yaesu radios. And it is a VX150, and there's a couple of labels on the buttons there. So they were doing, speed label things and whatnot way back then. It's an SMA female connector. The battery on this has been charging all day, but if you find an old radio and have never done anything with it, you probably want to check the battery itself. This one is before they had spicy pillow batteries that exploded. It's a very pathetic 700 milliamp hours, and it's all NiCad, which means it probably has a memory from hell and does not hold a charge. And like I said, she's been charging all day, and so we need to check what the charge is. So I'm going to get out my multimeter. I actually didn't think about this ahead of time. A lot of this stuff is linked in the description down below, and Frank in the chat will be providing us with some links as we go in case we can find anything. And hopefully, Frank, you can take some notes for me and let me know if I missed anything. So I'm going to set this multimeter to DC. I like this because it's simple and cheap, and the probes are physically attached and stick in the case, so you can shove it in your pocket and not stab yourself. And it's cheap enough that you don't really mind losing it. So let's see. I'm going to do, and the digits are big enough you can see them on screen. 8.2 volts, and it's a 7.2 volt battery, so it appears to be fully charged. And they do make AA battery packs for this, like Patrick is saying in the chat. And Vertex was their commercial line, I believe. So I think you're right on that one. Thank you for the super chat, Doc Brad. Much appreciated. And let's see. So Patrick was saying he's got a AA pack. They do make plenty of replacement batteries for this. They've upgraded the technology from NiCad to nickel metal hydride. And you can also get whatever AA batteries will fit in that AA pack. I didn't put a AA pack link in the description, but the battery appears to be healthy. So before it goes fully dead, I want to test the power output. I want to put an actual draw on the battery. So we're going to put the battery in and attach it like so. And I need a dummy load and a metering device. And I happen to have such things, but they're attached to a radio. So bear with me for a second while I detach the radio. And I got a new power meter I want to share with y'all. I should have some background music going. Some ambient lo-fi for y'all. So check this new power meter out. This is not the one that I had in the video a while back that everyone complained about being, being RF dirty. And I really think this 100-watt dummy load on here is going to be overkill for this radio, but you never know. It could surprise us. All right, so I need adapters to go to SMA male and PL259. And I may or may not have that. I actually do. I have that. If you guys ever find something like this at a Hamfest, grab it up fast. That's an old Plano fishing tackle box that I wind up storing all of those adapters in. There's no kill like overkill. That's absolutely correct. Welcome, PRK Radio. You haven't gotten here too late. We just got started. We're playing around with this radio, and I'm getting ready to do a power test on it. before the battery goes dead. But we'll also do an external power test as well. So I've got it cabled in. So now this meter will do HF and UHF VHF. But check out this. This is the reason why everybody wants this thing. If you see any patterning effects, it's an artifact of the camera, but otherwise it looks pretty good. And this thing has its display up top, and we're on 145, 370. And let's take a look. So what you're looking at is this meter up here, or if you like the cross meter, that'll be on there. I'm going to put it on the 10-watt display, and it's a touch screen. Let's see what we got. 0.7 watts output. That tells me that internal battery is toasted. Okay, so next up, I think we'll put this off to the side a little bit here. We have the wall wart that it came with. And this thing is ginormous compared to today, where you just get a little USB deal here. So input is 120 volts AC, 60 hertz, 12 watts. And output is 12 volts DC, 500 milliamps. I love how they mix units there. That should be watts, or that should be amps, or something along those lines. And it is center positive, shield negative, and if I can get a probe in there, we'll test the power and see if we've got good power out. I already know the power supply is good, but if you're getting a brand new radio, you should certainly test the power on it before plugging it into anything, and that might make enough of a connection to make us happy. So step one, let's plug it in. All right, so I'll hold that on the outside and see if we can get some electricity on the inside, and we can't. My probe is too big. Never had that problem before. All right, I have a DuPont wire here. That should do it. So first I need to get it disconnected. See, this is why you never clean up your workbench, because you'll have every tool you ever need on your workbench ready to go. And this is going to be fun to try and hold all these things together. So the DuPont wire does fit inside. And does it make a connection? There we've got connection. I think we might have the wrong units. There we go. So this thing puts out 13.4 volts, I saw. Yeah, there we go. 13.4 volts on the power plug here. So the power supply is running good. So what I'm going to do now is plug the power supply into the radio and see if we get more power out. There we go. So 2.6 watts into the dummy load. And you can see that cross needle meter action going on there with our perfect SWR on that guy. So 2.6, 2.7 watts, 1-to-1 SWR. Ronnie in the chat said that he had one of these radios. Ronnie, what was the power output on yours? Was it similar to this? Was it much better? Did I check the power setting? That's a good question. Did I check the power setting? Let's see. Is there a power setting? Where is there a power setting? We've got squelch type code low. That would be the opposite of high. Megahertz. What's it say on the screen? Anything? There's a whole row on the screen there. That's a different channel. So somebody's got some stuff programmed in here. These are all digits on the display, not names. Look by the PTT. There's two buttons over there. Thank you. That one lights up the display. And that one opens the squelch. Okay, set priority, reverse, up, down. Yeah, I don't see anything that says power. Let's try function low. All right, there we go. It says high now. Let's turn the power meter back on and see what that gives us on high power, if there's a difference. How about no power? $2.7. So let's do function low says hi. Okay. Yeah, power's not changing. I might be doing it wrong though. RQ says he's got the programming software for this guy. Maybe you can enlighten us with the power settings. All right, VFO is on 146.52 and 2.9 watts on 146.52. Is your wall wart enough for higher power? It is not. I might need to shove it onto. That's a good question. That's 500 milliamps coming out of the wall wart. So I think I need to grab something else. Take the battery off, go straight to a power supply. Good. Thank you for making valuable ham radio content. JJR from NYC. Thank you for watching and thank you for the kind words. So I have been told that the power supply is the same as the Yaesu. So I'm going to grab my Yaesu power cord. Which is in my FT818 bag somewhere. So bear with me while I find that. Oh, I converted it. I converted the 818 over to power poles. It might not be in this bag. That is the charging cable for 2 amps. Output is 2 amps on this one. It probably doesn't fit. Nope, it doesn't fit. That's the charging cable for the 818's internal battery, the WinCamp upgrade. Didn't know I was going on a scavenger hunt tonight. I might not have that cable handy. Let's see if we can do this the hard way too. That's what I was thinking, Ronnie. Unscrew the power pole adapter and use it. You are right there with me. There we go. So that's how they get that power pole adapter on there. And does it fit? It does fit. All right. Just throw wires everywhere. No big deal. And then I guess before we fry this thing live on camera, we should verify that polarity is correct. It was center positive before. It should still be center positive. Ham harder. Patrick, I don't know that we could ham any harder than this. All right, center positive it is. And now we have much more beans to be had for the radio, so we'll get much more power out of it. That's a very good call that the wall wart wasn't giving us enough power. Okay, so now 146.52 plugged into workbench power supply. There we go. 5.4 watts output. Fantastic. Paul, you send in a radio you want me to fry live, and I will fry it live on your behalf. But right now, this is still shaping up to be a pretty good radio. I'm going to make sure I put that screw back in there. So if I ask you guys later, where did I put that screw? It was back in there. And I have been pretty happy with the quality of WinCamp products, but sometimes they make a product. They made the remote antenna mount for the ICOM 705. The first one they made wasn't compatible with their protective cage, and that was just kind of weird that they made a product that was incompatible with their own product. So what do you guys think of that power meter? I think that's pretty slick. Okay, so next up, I've got my tiny essay here. So we're going to test harmonics. Eric, there's a video coming out on the channel about that fairly soon. So be sure to stay tuned for when that comes out. And we're going to test this using the old-fashioned harmonics way. We're working with Dr. Doug and trying to figure out what the proper way is to test these. These are those attenuators that I had tested out in my video on how to verify that your attenuators are good, because I've had attenuators go bad and it's not fun. So now we know how much power the radio is putting out. These attenuators are close enough in spec to keep me happy. And I think I have an SMA union, so I'm going to look up for that. I wonder how many ham shacks burn down every year just because of sloppy power wires laying everywhere all over the workbench. So SMA union in my bag of tricks. And does the internal battery have enough power to run this test? Which one of you is unhappy? That one. That's the unhappy one. There was too much flex in my get along there. All right, we're going to do measure harmonics of 146.52 megahertz. We're going to do a span of 1x for full span. We're going to set the level to 40 dB of external attenuation. We're going to draw the line at minus 16.02. And that is our passer. It's one of our 2 pass or fail lines, to be extremely pedantic. And let's fire her up and see what we get. There's our weak primary. So the 2 things that we need to do is have all the harmonics. You can see 2, 3, 4, and 5 there. Have all of them below the blue line. And also any of them that are below the blue line need to be 40 decibels different than the primary. And right now we have just passed the test. So there is our clean radio. We still don't know the vintage of this yet, but they knew how to make clean radios way back when. So let's put this away before I make too much of a mess of my desk. I don't know if you guys could hear that, but my fan behind me was making a terrible racket. Yes, Liberty is correct. The chat is all kumbaya. We're all friends here. There's no such thing as a disagreement on ham nuggets, unless Jim's here, which he's not, so we can talk about him. All right, that is all set. What do we want to look at next on this thing? So I guess before we get too far ahead on this, we've got something I want to share with you because Patrick is here. Check this out. Patrick has a new design of hat, and he's doing a giveaway of this, and there is a link in the description to go get one if you're not a winner. And be sure you click the link because that'll tell Patrick that you saw it on Nuggets first. But this is pretty cool. This is orange and black, which is the same color that I have as my logo on my cap up there. And DAX 651, great to be able to watch live, albeit from a hospital. Hope you feel better soon, Damien. And day 12 in, and you should be home soon for sure. All right, I got to do some behind the scenes magic. I guess I got to do it in front of the scenes because y'all get to watch how the sausage is made. Let's see, it is Nightbot. And Nightbot has a giveaway tool that is not great. giveaways, and we're going to do a giveaway based on a keyword. And you can see the chat is loaded, and we've got everybody selected. And the keyword is not Fang 2. The keyword is Gear Forever, which is the name of the hat store where you can go get these hats. And everything looks good to me, so I'm going to say done. And y'all start typing in Gear Forever. Snapback fits pretty big heads too. Okay. Like that, I think is how I typed it in. We've got some showing up, so y'all figured it out. Y'all got it right. And we have 148 people watching, so I'm looking for somewhere around half of that for entries, and then we'll do the giveaway. And Patrick has a lot of other stuff for sale on his store as well, so definitely click the link in the description. Check it out. There is a coupon code there. Patrick, what's the coupon code for? He's going to type it in the chat, and it's going to fly off the screen. Gear 9 Ever Liberty. Come on. Come on, come on, come on. Patrick's trying to win his own hat. I saw that. That's cheating. 56 entries. 10% off. The code in the chat is the code in the description is for 10% off. Thank you, Patrick. I was watching it go by. 62 entries. Spelling counts, folks. Gear sometimes on every third Wednesday. That is correct. And if you are the winner, there is a form in the description that will give me the info to give to Patrick to tell him that you are the winner. And then you guys can talk amongst yourselves, and he'll get the hat with your call sign or whatever fancy word you want up there. If you wanted to say sad ham, he can make it say sad ham. Patrick's a nice guy like that. I don't think case matters. I don't think I turned on case mattering, but I can't tell. So type it in both ways. 69 entries. We're almost there. Probably ship tomorrow with any other orders. So yeah. Liberty, we do keep records. We'll know if you filled out the form by accident and you're trying to cheat us. But you'd never try to cheat us. I know it was an accident. All right, I'm going to hit the draw button. I'm going to choose a winner, and we're going to have this very exciting fanfare from Nightbot. Watch this. Are you ready? Ta-da! The Hillbilly Ham, you won. Excellent. Congratulations. And we're waiting for you to acknowledge that you have won. Just type a message in the chat, and it'll pop up. There you go. You said wow, so you know that you won. Perfect. Fill out that form in the description, and we will take it from there. So while I was doing my research for the show today, I found this website, and I believe this is linked in the description. If not, I'll copy it real quick and paste it in the chat. And there's a whole bunch of stuff out here. This is on the Mars mod, and Ronnie was telling me you just need to remove one part, and he is correct, but you can also do an extra thing. And I think, no, I actually turned it off. I was going to say, I think the battery died. Battery is still good. It holds a very weak charge. We'll see if the battery dies during stream. Let's see. So programming interface schematics for the VX150. Okay, that doesn't look complicated at all. So serial control, and yes, I can enlarge that because it's going to look so much better when it's enlarged. A couple of diodes, some transistors, some resistors, and then P and G, power and ground. 5, 3, 2, 4, 8, 7. This is your serial port on the left-hand side. You got to go through all of this stuff to the, I guess P maybe for programming, but that's just the schematic. And there's the 4-pin plug. Okay, so there's your P&G. That's what P&G is. It's a tip ring sleeve connector. And they indicate that ground is the typical ground. G for ground. That's the typical ground on a tip ring sleeve connector. And P is the second one in. That is a lot of work to do programming. No, we're not going to build a programming cable live. Programming software. No link for the programming software. PDF user manual. Hey, that's exactly a PDF user manual. They were right. Let's see if there's a copyright on here real quick. Any special features they want to call out? Wealth of convenient features for the 2-meter amateur band. So it's 2-meter only. It's got CTCSS tones and DCS tones, 199 freely tunable memories, and 2 VFOs. 7 digits memory selection. CTCSS tone includes a bar graph S/PO meter. So signal strength meter. Power saver system. Please read the manual carefully to gain a full understanding of the features of the VX150. Okay, so it was never set in low power mode. We were just testing on a dead battery and a not beefy enough power supply, and that's why we were only getting half the power. But that's still not bad for a half an amp of power. Let's see, battery charger, belt clip, antenna. We're missing the antenna. The operating manual is freely available online, and even if you had the warranty card, this thing is well out of warranty. This thing it's heavy. It might be a full pound or 2 pounds. All right. Hillbilly Ham says he's good on the Zed and his form has been filled out. Patrick, if you wanted to jump the gun on that, otherwise I'll send you the information after the stream. The battery pack I have linked in the description is 2200 milliamp hours. So, not just double of the 700 internal, but also double of the extended battery pack that Yaesu sold. Compact dry cell battery case for 6 AA size cells. These did not look like AA size cells, but I don't have any here for reference. I guess they are AA size. They only show a little tiny window, but these are actually 6 NiCad batteries, NiCad AA batteries in there. All right. 100 volt AC desktop rapid charger requires CA24. CA24 is the charger sleeve, and PA23, the AC adapter to get the rapid desk charger. So this is probably $50, and then the CA24 is probably another 25, and the PA23 was probably 37 back in the day. To do something that you get with a Baofeng today for $25, and it's included. Externals, hand speaker microphone, MH34. These are the regular, I want to say these are the regular sized speaker mics. No, it's still the single pin. Okay, I thought it was more like one of these, which is attached to my 857. It's the same basic shape, but it's a little smaller. And it's got that tip ring sleeve plug. And Yaesu's still using the same plug today. So if you had this microphone, it'll still work up to your 5D, I believe. Box headset, DC cable with noise filter. I want to see what that charger sleeve looks like. No, I don't want California. Is that it? That's for the FT70. There's the CA34. Okay, that doesn't look like what I thought it would look like. You need to attach a special adapter to the radio to get it to plug into the charging base. Ronnie's saying the FT60 is the same. Ronnie, I think you have both of those radios, don't you? The 150 and the FT60? rubber flex antenna. And the one picture I saw that had this antenna attached to it, it definitely had the Yaesu lean going on. Special cloning cable. How to install the battery. How to plug in the wall charger. Boy, they didn't leave anything out. Oh, it's missing the waterproofing flap on the side. I gotta sneeze. All right, I'm back. I got to the mute button just in time. How to screw in the antenna. They don't leave anything out. So the lower button is the squelch, the upper button is the channel, and then that is your power and volume button there. Transmitting. How to push the transmitting. The T-call. If using a B version in Europe, press the T-call switch to transmit that 1750 hertz tone. Nice. Because it's 2 meter only, you don't need to enter in the leading one. You just do 46520. Patrick wants to say thank you to Liberty Cave. All right. Thank you, Patrick. Thank you for the $5 super chat. Much appreciated. Press the F/W key and immediately press the low key. Rotate the knob to select low, medium, high. Okay, so that's what I was doing. So if we look at it, let me switch screens. So the F key, it says F/W, but I don't have an F/W. I just have the F key. And then you press 3. So F3, and it says high on the screen, low, mid, high. And it gives you a little beep to indicate that it's through the different power levels. That's pretty cool. Come on, move over there. There we go. Ronnie says the speaker mic cable will slightly fall out and you will key a repeater for 20 minutes or until the battery dies. Yeah, you'll stand out at Quartz Fest with that hat. The orange one with the black. Is that the one you're getting, Liberty? KY4TRK says, good evening, y'all. Thank you for the membership milestone super chat. Much appreciated. You saw me on Amazon, Bill. What were you looking for? I do have a couple of videos on Amazon. It's hard to get videos on Amazon because they dinged me for a some video I was publishing. I don't even remember what it was on. Oh, it was on a mini computer, a mini PC. And they said somehow I was asking for personal information or revealing personal information. And I kept trimming and trimming and trimming and trimming and trimming. And finally the video was like, hi, I left out my call sign in case that's what they thought it was. And it's like, this computer has these ports. Hope this helps. And they appreciated that. So that's all it took. Had to leave out 100% of the meat of the video. Gifted 1 membership. Jody, thank you. Douglas V, Amateur Radio and More got it. Shalom, Douglas. Good to see you got it. Let's see. Changing the channel steps. Let me get the manual back up here. I'm still looking for the copyright info to see if it'll tell me when the... And I'm also kind of lazily looking through the features here and sharing them with you. Anybody have a guess as to what year this radio was built? Don't cheat by looking up. Just tell me what year you think it was made by looking at the brand language. To me, this looks like a Motorola pager, especially with that top-facing screen, which I actually think is pretty cool because you can keep it on your belt and still see what frequency you're on without having to pull it out. Keyboard locking, of course. Do you hate it when you accidentally lock the radio and then you have to go look in the manual to figure out what the unlock code is? 2008 Starman, nice. It probably is a 2008 radio. But I think Douglas V has got it right that it was, created in 1975 or something. Receive battery saver setup, TX battery saver, keypad, LCD illumination, automatic power off feature. The VX50 is capable of measuring its battery voltage. Let's see what it thinks the battery voltage is. All right, so it is press the F key and then the set key. Rotate the dial to menu. Oh crap! It's got a deep F menu. Rotate the dial to option 37. That is crazy that even back then they had deep F menus. Battery, press the F key to check the battery voltage. 8.1 volts, but not enough rear end to actually make it. Bill saying looks just like the VX3 manual. This actually looks just like the FT818 manual as well. And the FT100 manual. And the FT857 manual. So that kind of puts it into frame. Ronnie, here's that feature you needed. Transmitter timeout timer. So we're still in the menu, so we can keep rotating around. Nope. And it is option 22 for timeout timer. What is this one set to? Timeout timer is set to off. So by default, it will just let you talk forever. This is perfect for the Tuesday night net on your local repeater where you want to be heard and heard and heard and heard. 1 minute, 2.5 minutes, 5 minutes, or 10 minutes. Tone calling, automatic number identification, CTCSS frequencies, DCS frequencies, tone search scanning. That was a feature way back when that Baofeng's just got like 2 years ago. CTCSS, DCS bell operation, memory operation, memory storage, storing independent transmit frequencies. Okay. The format on that font just looks weird. The way they did the capital letters. It's like they did it in a completely different font where they wrote it and then they changed it in a graphic editor instead of in a text editor. Home channel labeling memories. You can label memories? You may wish to append an alphanumeric tag to a memory or memories. Masking memories, memory only mode, scanning, VFO scanning, memory scanning. Set the rated memory mode by pressing the key if necessary, and then press and hold the up and down button. So let's set it to, first off, let's get out of the function menu. And let's do memory mode, and then press the up key for scanning. Oh, that scanning's pretty fast. Let's show you guys this. That scanning's actually really fast. Cool. Band limit memory scan, scanning, band edge beeper, smart search operation, search mode, search memories. Come on. There's a lot of pages. 44 pages in this manual. We're over halfway through. CWID, nice. Oh, interface of packet TNCs and reset. So it gives you the data interface cable. And I did see this CT44 microphone adapter, which I can't imagine is 100% necessary because there's only 4 pins there. So this might make it slightly easier for you to get the other 4 pins done. Speaker, ground, mic, PTT, and ground. So you'd be able to use the Toad's digital interface to program this guy. Mine's currently in use, or I'd show it to you, but perfect way to get old radios on the air. Microprocessor resetting, cloning. And it looks like it is a tip ring sleeve cable as opposed to a TRRS. It's missing one of the rings. Probably a $50 cable from Yaesu and a $3 cable at the gas station. That's all the deep menu settings. There are 38 deep menu settings on this old radio. Come on. At least it explains what they are. That's useful. In a Baofeng manual, this is all you get is this list up here. Like, yep, alpha stores alpha tags. Great. What are alpha tags? Why do I need alpha tags? If I can get past the end of this. Set mode. Notes. Nobody took notes on this PDF. There we go. Frequency coverage 144 to 147.995 version A, 144 to 145.995 version B. So it's not 144 to 148, it's 144 to almost 148. Repeater shift is 600. Emission type is G3E. Supply voltage, it'll take up to 16 volts. Holy moly. Receive 130 milliamps. Transmit on high power required 1.3 amps, and we were given it more than 1.3. Let me grab this power supply. This power supply puts out, we weren't giving it more than 1.3. We were giving it 500 milliamps, and it was putting out 2 point some watts. So it was only expected to put out half a watt, and it was doing much better. And it will auto power off at anything below, at 8 milliamps or below. Double conversion superhet, nice. Transmitter power, 5 watts at 7.2 volts and 13.8 volts external DC in. Vertex standard. There it is. Copyright 1999. This radio, this is like 1993 vintage technology to me. And even then, 1993 was nice. That's the same time they had the pagers with this screen up here. And to MAK, which is more expensive, the Yaesu cable or an ICOM bracket, asking for a friend. Mike, he's not here. He has to watch the show. So 1999 was when this thing was made. See the last page. What did I miss? Yeah, that's where I was. Last page. All right. Got it. Yep. They were so proud they saved it for the last page. Schematics for the whole radio? That's a dead link, I guess. That's a dead link. That's a dead link. Those links just keep coming back to the same page. Mods for the VX150 modification sheet. Modification sheet. Transmit, receive, other. Okay. I can't read that either. Y'all guessed 1999. Nice. Started doing modifications in 1980 at the age of 12 years. This was written in 2004. And this is by DG2IAQ. And I'm not going to butcher their name. But in case you wanted to call him, there's his phone number. And no, I'm not doxing him. He put his phone number on the internet, not me. Better microphone sensitivity of the internal electric capsule. And then more heights, but not really necessary to remove. More heights. Must be a translation issue. I don't know what more heights means. Remove 2 capacitors, and you get more heights. One of them is not really necessary, and the other one is important. After these audio modifications, the HT is usable in louder environments to cause of the higher AF output level and the much raised intelligibility. Oh, look at that. He's even got audio curves. That's pretty cool. And he's showing you where to do it. What are these? It didn't list anything to do with those pieces, did it? Yeah, a resistor or 2 different capacitors. So I don't know what this circuit board picture is. That's the power connector over there. So we're looking at the underside of the radio. Are we? It's probably just upside down. So there's the resistor to replace. There's one of the capacitors. He did a really good job on this document. Another capacitor. He accepts no liability if you make these modifications. That's pretty cool. Service menu. Oh, the internal alignment procedure. Yeah, a lot of the older Yezus, I don't know if the new ones do because I haven't looked. They probably do. Have a service mode that you can go in and make a ton of changes. So if you ever go into the service mode on these radios to make these changes, the first thing you should do is write down whatever the values are that are displayed so you can put it back where it was and then fiddle with it. But if you fiddle with it, you can do some serious damage to these things. So be careful. Special key sequence in order to get in. Don't screw up your radio. See? He agrees. I can't highlight that. But KC9 DPV agrees. This gets into the radio CPU, so everything should be done with the correct equipment. So make the changes and verify them. External mic diagrams. Modification note. So there's a lot of stuff you could do with this radio way back then besides just like ham radio stuff. And there's a lot of features that this radio has that I really wasn't expecting it to have. Expanded transmit. This is the one that Ronnie's been talking about. And there are two different ways to do the expanded transmit. And Ronnie was telling me you just remove one part, which you can just remove that resistor. And for the Mars Cap mod, remove R1275 and solder it to the blank solder pads. And then for freeband, you just remove 1275 and don't do anything else. And if you just remove R1275, you get 100 megahertz to 200 megahertz transmit inclusive. So anything in between there. That's not a ton of expanded frequency range because it doesn't get you fully into 220. So what's some stuff in that area that would be interesting in the 100 to 200 range outside of 144 to 148? But if you remove the resistor and then you jumper the pads, you get it locked into 140 to 174, which is the Mars Cap mod. MERS is at 150, 182. All right, good. 162, 550 is like weather, isn't it, Ronnie? Maritime channels. Okay. All right. Excellent. The radio circuitry is not widebanded enough to cover the entire spread. When the radio display starts flashing and blinking, this means the radio's VCO is out of lock and no receive or transmitting is possible. Typical radio should transmit from 125 to 180 when the freeband mod is performed. So I wonder if it's already been done or not. Are any of these antennas that I have on these radios, these are Baofeng, so they're the other direction? Yep. See if the Mars mod's already been done on this or not. I guess I could just take this and use the union that's sitting there on the desk. And I guess technically, I guess to be a good ham, I should use a dummy load for this. Let me do that. And the dummy load was already the correct gender, but I've got a adapter stuck in the middle of it. I got to pull the adapter out. All right, there we go. Let's take it out of scan mode. And what am I looking for? Let's do 745. Nope. it doesn't appear to be unlocked. 625. That's 146.52. No, that complained. Let's see. I'm in memory mode. Let's go to VFO mode. All right. Yeah, so it's not letting me push the 8. There we go. 174. 174.0. Error. Let's do 730. Error. I would say it's not done. The function key is locked. Does that matter? Nope. Yeah, the dummy load's pretty big. Let's do 60320. I can type it in, but I can't PTT it. Oh, nice. Do I need to do some kind of special reset after I remove the part? Most of the time, resetting the radio is not necessary, but have a backup of your frequencies just in case, because the radio will reset itself most of the time, which I have noticed. Memory channel 1. Let's go into memory mode. Memory channel 1 is 145 here, so he's programmed this in with something. He being the previous owner of this. Yep. After you program the VFO, you have to hit the memory button, then you'll lock it in. Let's try that. Take it out of memory mode. Let's do 6250, and then hit the memory button to lock it in, and that didn't do anything. So it says 160320 on the display, and I hit memory, and it just switches into memory mode. So let's check the manual for a factory reset. It's on page 30, microprocessing resetting, and it says turn the radio off, which it's off. Hold PTT and lamp. I think lamp was the lower button. Rotate the dial to select all reset on the LCD. So I guess I got to turn it on first. Set, reset, all reset, memory only, clone, set reset, all reset. Press the F key to momentarily initialize the radio. So let's F it. All right, it has been reset. So let's try again. 62500. Error? Yep. So we did the reset. That didn't work. It was a try. It was worth it. Always fun to try. And one of the reasons why I don't want to go too far into this is because whoever gets this radio after me, you have to remove that sticker down there in order to get to the screws in order to open the radio, is what this documentation here says. So if we look, it says remove that sticker, and then there's a bunch of screws under there. So I don't want to disturb the pristine nature of this relic. Technical specifications. All right, yeah, we already saw those. All right, well, she's a beaut. And we've learned that it was built in 1999. This one says manufactured 2000 to 2000X. So we don't know when they stopped making it. But it's a nice little brick. I like it. Not having the antenna is not a deal breaker for me. So, because there's lots of good antennas out there. It was discontinued. One of the things I wish is that there was a way to tell when it was discontinued or what its successor was. Sometimes on Wikipedia it'll tell you the before and after thing. Vertex 150 doesn't exist. Nope. Not going to find it. Let's see if Universal Radio will have it. Discontinued 0809. I never go to this page looking at it this way. I always wind up stumbling upon it through a search. Oh, he doesn't go back old enough. Discontinued. Let's see this. VX150. There we go. The VX110 is similar, but with a different keypad. Yeah. Slightly dumbed down keypad. Oh, Ronnie sent me how to decode. Position 1 is year made. Position 2 is month made. So let's open this up. Let me get back over to the stream so I can verify you guys can see what's going on. And I guess it kind of doesn't matter because that serial number is hard to see anyway. Serial number of 9J. I've got serial number of 0D, so I guess it's made in 2000. Position 1 is year made. I have a 0, and then D is February. Position 3 and 4 are lot numbers, which is 05. 5 to 8 is sequence in that lot. So 431. Yep. So it was made in 2000, which means they couldn't make this past. So 2000 to 2009 is all they could make this radio. After that, they had no choice but to change. They were out of serial number space. Coded serial numbers is how they get you. So we need to find a radio that was made in 2010. Yep, Frank has decoded it in writing. February 2000, batch 58, radio number 431. Not bad. So it's one of the early models. Excellent. And the battery is still going strong. Pretty cool. The VX250. Ronnie says the 250 is the one that replaced it. I'll take Ronnie's word for it. Yaesu older radios were a lot of fun. And the newer radios, they seem like they're still just a little bit behind the times. So I don't know. I mean, in 2009, this radio was still something you could buy brand new off the shelf. What do you guys think? I'm sitting here waiting for you to answer like it's possible. So I do have some links in the description for you for the parts and the tools and stuff. And this case here is pretty slick. I did a video on the new Nano VNA FV2 a while back, and there's a case for that too. So that's pretty cool. So now I've got a bunch of these cases, and I really like them because they look like they're really sturdy and they're just custom designed to fit these guys. They're pretty slick. So I've got links in the description down below for those things as well. Patrick, if you're still around, thank you for doing the giveaway. There will be an upcoming giveaway on a future episode of Nuggets for one of these cases. So be sure you are subscribed to see the next video when that comes out. We do all of the live streams. We do all the giveaways on the live streams, and then I'll announce the giveaways sometimes during the video on the thing where we're giving things away, if that makes any sense. But thank you all for sticking around, and we will see you next Monday on the next Ham Nuggets live stream, or tomorrow morning on some other YouTube video.